In this video, we're going to talk about selecting your zone wisely. How to select the proper zone so that you can maximize your full income. Hey.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Roll 100. What up? It's your boy Roll 100. What's up, Blind Gang? Yo, what up? It's your boy Roll 100. Yo, what up? It's your boy Roll 100. Yo, what up? It's your boy Roll 100. Grind gang, what it do? It's your boy Roll 100. Grind gang, what it do? It's your boy Roll 100. Grind gang, what it do? It's your boy Roll 100.
You can't do nothing about me. I get it in, 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 get it. Watch me get it in.
In this video, we're going to talk about exploring work zones and the advantages of doing so when working app-based gigs. Yo, what's good, Grind Gang? It's your boy, Roll 100, and I'm back with another video for you. Hey, today we're going to talk about these work zones. I know everybody been asking me about how I pick my zones and why. So let's talk about how to explore these work zones and how to use them to our advantage. In order to take advantage of the work zones, you first need to know about the zones around you. So you need to get to know the zones. If you're working Instacart, what you want to do first, look at the Instacart map, look at the available zones that you can work in, and then schedule hours to work in different zones. Don't work the same zone if you're just getting started with Instacart. Now, for those of you guys that are already working Instacart and have been doing this for a while, obviously, I'm sure you guys have already found which zone you prefer to work in. But if you're just getting started, what you want to do is work in different zones, different settings. Try working early in the day, try to work later in the afternoon. Try different times that work and see what works for you and what's going to be more profitable. Lots of reasons that factor in, and we'll talk about that later in this video. But the first thing you want to do, you want to get to know the zones that are available for you to work in. Now, if you're working Doordash, same thing. Doordash, you have different zones around in those areas. Try working in those different zones. See what the experience is like in the zone that's closest to you. I'm not telling you to drive a ridiculous amount of time to work into a zone, but, you know, check out. You know, to me, I'll go up to about 20 to 25 minutes away to find the zone that I prefer to work in with some of these app-based gigs. With DoorDash, there are a couple of zones that I prefer to work in. With Instacart, there are 1 or 2 zones I prefer to work in, and I will drive for those zones as well. Skip the dishes. It's a little different because you don't have an option to pick different zones, and it covers a wider area, but you can find out about the zone. So I'll talk to you about that and tell you how to best utilize the zone that you want to work in. Grubhub. In my area, you can work in 3 different zones. You have to choose which one of the zones you want to work in. The zone I choose to work in, it covers most of the city, the downtown area, the busy part of the city. So I stick with that. But you could try other zones, but you have to kind of like choose to switch over to work in that zone. So it may be a little bit more trouble than it's worth with Grubhub. With Roadie, you already know, no zones. You're free to go from here to the other side of the country if that's what you need to do to get the job done. I know I'm leaving out a couple of them. Deliv, if you work in Deliv, you already know whatever you sign up in, whatever zone you sign up in, that's pretty much the zone they're gonna have you work in. However, Deliv also covers a wide area as well. So I don't think you have to worry about a zoning issue when it comes to that. I'm pretty sure there's other platforms, but the bottom line is get to know your zone. So if you first start working on a platform, first thing you want to find out is what hotspots do they suggest? You can start hanging around in those hotspots that they suggest, but you will find out as you work more and more, you will start to create your own hotspot based on what businesses they have. Example, we take Instacart. One of the zones I work in, they have a lot more businesses that Instacart partner with within that zone. there's also freeways and expressways that just go right in between. So there's a lot more action in that zone versus another zone where they only have 2 or 3 businesses that Instacart partner with in this entire zone. Houses are further apart, the drives are a little longer. It's more of it's not really freeway access. So you gotta consider those type of things, and also you gotta consider the time of day. If you're gonna work Instacart and you're working in the downtown area, you gotta know which streets you can use, where you can park, because it's very difficult getting in and out of downtown during the week in busy areas. I'm not sure what city you're in, but if you're close to like a major city or even the smaller cities, downtown usually is busy during the week between 8 and 5. So be mindful of that. The first thing I wanted to really get across is get to know your zone. Get out there, find these zones, schedule with Instacart. You can only schedule 2 hours at a time, minimum. Schedule 2 hours in the zone over here and 2 hours in the zone over there. Just make sure you leave yourself ample amount of time to get from one zone to another. Because with Instacart, I'm not sure where you guys are at, but the boundaries are kind of not as clear as they used to be. Now that we talked about getting to know the zones around you and how to work the zones that you want to work in, now let's talk about the importance of working the proper zone. When it comes to Instacart, working a proper zone can make a difference in how much money that you make at the end of the day. It can make a difference in your tips as well. Certain areas you'll find out is busier, you may get bigger orders, you may get a lot of orders, or you might find out you work somewhere where it's scattered. You may be sitting in your car for a little bit, get an order, then you may sit for a little bit because maybe that zone is not as busy. So once you find the zone that is busy, once you find the zone that's right for you, because you got to get comfortable, and you'll start to notice if after working for Instacart, you'll see some of the same customers over and over again. You'll get the hang of how they do things in that particular zone. Once you get comfortable with the zone that works for you, then that's the zone you target. That's the one you're going to make the most money out of because you're going to be comfortable. Don't get out here and put yourself in an uncomfortable position, because it's hard to hustle hard when you're uncomfortable. You need to know what's going on. You need to know your environment. You need to know what shortcut, if a road is closed down. All of those type of things are things that you learn the more that you spend time in your zone and get to know the zone that you're in. Another thing when it comes to these zones, look, do not be afraid to commute. Do not be afraid to commute. If you got to drive 10 or 15 minutes out to go to another zone, check it out. For me, I live in the inner city. Some of the app-based gigs are better in the inner city. Some of the gigs I work are better in the suburbs or in the outer part of the city. So I choose which one I'm going to work based on which one is being more profitable. When I work Instacart, it works a lot better when I work the suburbs and the outer areas. Most of those people order from Instacart a lot more than they do in the city. So it's a lot less sitting. It's usually more busy. When it comes to nighttime, when I'm working Skip the Dishes, I usually work that at late at night because that's the time when it's really busy with Skip the Dishes. The people that they partner with are usually open at nighttime, and they usually stay open way late at night. So you have to kind of just get comfortable and know what zone to be in and what app-based gig to be doing at what time. I keep telling you, diversify. Do not get stuck in a box. You want to be available to do different things, and you want to have control over how much money you can make. So that is another point that I wanted to bring up. Do not be afraid to commute. Go out there and see what's out there. I drive like 20 minutes to get to where I need to go when I'm driving Instacart, and it's worth it to me. I make a lot more money driving 20 minutes away and doing my job than I would if I would just stay in the zone where my house is located. I don't make as much money. Does time of day matter when you pick in your zone? It absolutely does. It does matter. It matters when you pick in your zone. It also matters what platform you are on. I prefer to work Instacart in the mornings. Why? Most people like to get their groceries to them in the early part of the day, and it's a lot more of an easy commute getting in and out of the grocery store and commuting through the traffic during the day. It's a lot better. So I try to do those in the morning hours between 8 o'clock And if I could be done by 12, I like to be done by 12. And then to start to focus on what I'm doing in the afternoon. I like to get ready for the lunch rush for Doordash. I like to get ready for the dinner rush for Grubhub. And I definitely like to get ready for the late night with Skip the Dishes. So yeah, the platform and the time of day does matter when picking your zone. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, how do you know when to pick the right zone or how to pick the right zone? I'm just gonna tell you, it's all trial and error. Only advice I'm giving you is get out there, see what's out there. If you're working for Doordash, I know when I started to work for Doordash and doing my first jobs for Doordash as a partner, I can recall them sending me to the same 2 places that they kept saying were hot spots. And they were not hot spots. Those were just places on the map that they felt would be the busiest based on the restaurants that were around in that area, but that wasn't the case. So what I did was I started to pay attention to where Doordash kept sending me. And after about a week or 2 doing Doordash, I had an idea of where I wanted to hang out in order to receive orders. So I found a spot, and the spot I found it was kind of a mix between what they said was a hot spot and what I know to be a hot spot. And anytime I'm doing Doordash and I'm sitting in that particular area, I always get orders with no problem because I'm like central to everything that's around. And that's what you want to be. You want to get in the middle. You want to be central. You don't want to be on the outskirts because people in the middle are going to get those jobs before you. You want to be centered. So if you know that there's a store here and there's a store over there, then you want to be right here when it comes to Instacart. If there's a grocery store here that they go to and one here, you want to be in the middle. If you're doing Skip the Dishes, like for me, when I'm doing Skip the Dishes, you can pretty much tell. If you just keep going back to the same restaurant you dropped off at, more than likely they'll keep giving you orders until the restaurant closes for the same restaurant. So that's something you need to know. Like Skip the Dishes, they just have a certain night type of crowd that they're gonna get anyway. When Grubhub is not serving food, when Doordash is not serving food, Skip the Dishes is still serving food 2:30, 3 o'clock. Sometimes I've been out there at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm telling you, they get the business. So all you gotta do is just keep on going back and you're gonna keep getting orders. The best way to create your own hotspot is to try driving the same patterns over a 2 or 3 week period of time, depending on how much you drive each service. Once you recognize which platforms are popular and which restaurants, you can then start to create hotspots for yourself. So the apps I suggest that you create your own hotspots with are Instacart, Doordash, Skip the Dishes, and Grubhub. You can also do this with Uber and Lyft. All right, so I hope I answered all your questions, and if I haven't answered your questions, please leave your questions down below. We talking about zones. We talking about what you should do to pick your zones. We talking about what's gonna work better for you. Hey, get out there. If you're driving, get out there, enjoy the road, learn your city, or learn the new city that you just moved into. Get familiar with your zones so you can start maximizing your income. It's all about maximizing. We want to get the most out of what's available. And that's a part of maximizing your income, is knowing and picking the right zone to work in with these app-based gigs. Hey, you already know I do it so you don't have to. It's your boy, Roll 100. And remember, when you roll, make sure it's 100. Peace.